3, 2, 1, let's go! Hi everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Boring JavaScript. I'm your host, the Virtuoid, aka Mike Smith, and today we're going to talk about how to get the last element of an array. Let's get straight into it. Now, to get the last element, you first need to know the length of the array, and that is the length property of the array itself. Now, arrays are indexed beginning with number 0, so the first element is 0, and the last element will always be the length of the array minus 1. So I am setting my variable called lastAnimal to the index animal's length minus 1, which will always give me the last element. Therefore, once I print this out, this should give me the last element. Let's take a look and let's see how that works. Node get last. Yep, sure enough, the last animal on the list is lizard. That's exactly what it is. Well, thanks again for watching. I hope I didn't put you to sleep, and I will see you later. Seriously, everybody, that's really all there is to it. There's nothing more to say on this. You know, so I thought it'd be fun to invent 3 more ways to be able to get that last element of the array. 3 insanely weird ways that you should never ever use. So, a caveat before we continue. Do not ever, never use what I'm getting ready to show you in production. These things are going to be insanely wrong and insanely inefficient. Use that first example that I posted earlier, okay? So do we understand each other? Don't use these in production. These are just for fun, for laughs. Let's get started and take a look. So our first ridiculous method is using the for each loop. Now the for each method on the array will go through each and every single element of your array and perform some sort of operation on it. This operation is inside of a callback function. And this callback function is always passed 3 arguments, and I'm just using 2 of them here. The actual element itself, and importantly to our example here, the animal index. So what I would expect it to do here, since I have 9 different elements, I would expect animal index to go from 0 to 8. So I've set my variable, my index, to 0, and within the callback function, I am changing my index to the animal index that the JavaScript passes back to me. So when all is said and done, I expect my result, or my index, excuse me, to be the value of 8, which is the very last element of my array. So then I just set my last animal to the last index, display it, and we're done. You want to see how it works? Let's take a look. Yep, last animal on the list is lizard. So that's how you can use the for each to figure out the last element of the array. Now the second ridiculous method of getting the last element of the array is to use the pop method. And the pop method will always extract the very last element out of an array. But importantly, it will also mutate the array by physically removing that last element. So in my case, if I had an array of 9 elements, after I do a pop, my array would only be 8 elements long. So although I've done the pop here in line 5, I've got to push it right back to array in line 6 in order to make sure that my array still contains the same values as it did before. But my animal still contains the very last element, so therefore I just print it out and it should work like a champ. Let's check it out and find out. Node pop. Yep, last animal on the list is lizard. So that's how you can use the pop method to be able to find the last element of the array. Our third and final ridiculous method of getting the last element of the array is to use the filter method on the array. Now let's take a look and see what that does. Now the filter method will go through each and every element of your array and apply a comparison that you supply through a callback function. And if that comparison returns true, it appends that element to, or actually a copy of the element, to a new array. If it returns false, then it does absolutely nothing. So if I had a filter here that said, give me a listing of all of the animals that had the letter C at the beginning, it should do 3 elements, cat, cow, and coyote. In our particular case here, my callback function, all I want to do is to be able to find the last index. Now, how do you find the last index? Well, remember earlier in our very first video, the last index can be found by getting the length of the array and subtracting 1. So I take the length of the array that's being passed in by the callback function, and I'm comparing my index on each element to the final number, which in this case for my particular array is 8. When that happens, it will return true, which means it will append the word lizard to my array. If it doesn't happen, which will be for every single time except for the last one, it will return false. So when all is said and done, when it comes out, I would expect to have an array of only one element with the word lizard inside of it. I get that element by doing, again, the length minus 1, because that's how you get the last element of the array. I could have just done result at 0 too, and it would have worked great. And I print it out. So let's take a look and see how that works. We go to node filter. Yep, last animal in my list is lizard. Worked out great. So that's how you can use the filter method in ridiculously getting the last element of the array. Hey, well, thanks again for watching our video on getting the last element of the array. Again, use the first method I showed. Do not use the last 3 methods. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it didn't put you to sleep. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or our blog at thevirtuoid.wordpress.com, or check out all of our videos at www.boringjavascript.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.